Welcome to Demystify Magic with Molly and Madison.
I'm Molly, a former skeptic, now full-time energy healer, author, and your resident science meets spirit nerd.
And I'm Madison, a born and raised witch, teacher of the craft, and owner of not one, not two, but 3 metaphysical businesses.
Together we dig into low-effort witchcraft, spirituality, and the science that backs it all up, all with humor, heart, and a sprinkle of chaos.
So whether you're a curious skeptic or a seasoned witch, find a cozy spot, take a deep breath, and let's demystify some magic. Howdy doody, friends.
Howdy and a duty and a friends.
We are here today for a very special episode, one that you guys have been asking us about for like the last year at least. And
At least, yeah.
I finally feel ready to talk about it.
Yay.
We are doing an intro to grief magic today because I have a very important announcement. You might remember in our bingo board episode, I had a little bleep.
Little bleep.
A very important thing that I got to mark off my bingo card last year, I wasn't allowed to talk about. And I finally have signed all of the documentation, and I can actually tell you that my first book, The Grief Grimoire, is coming fall 2027.
Yay! Woo! And the crowd goes wild!
Just in time for us to get all of the mundane magic pre-orders out and to settle in and have your release party. I was like, perfect, coming in right at the buzzer. I've been really open and transparent about my journey with grief on this podcast in the last year. And the thing that you guys taught me more than anything is how little permission we are given on a societal level to talk about grief and death and pain.
Mm-hmm.
And when Linda died, I realized that the resources were not there.
Mm-hmm.
And there was this expectation to get back to normal as quickly as possible. And if the last year's taught me anything, it's that there is no normal.
Mm-hmm.
I think everybody talks about the new normal in like a post-COVID world. And I feel like I never heard that term before, but it's its own new normal to like continue life after loss. And I was really like kind of stunned by how lonely it felt, even though there were so many of you guys in my DMs talking to me about your grief. And I know that it's like nobody escapes life without this feeling, and yet like we just don't talk about it, and it's just not there. Mm-hmm. And so I really wanted to create that resource, but I also knew that I didn't feel well equipped enough to be like the end all be all death grief magic person. And so I started talking to my other mentors and to my friends and people who knew Linda and people who maybe didn't, and about the losses that they've had in their lives and the practices that help them get through it. And so that's what the Grief Grimoire is. It's half spell book, half memoir, filled with interviews from practitioners that some you know and love, some you might never have heard of, and some have been on this podcast before.
Ooh.
Some have been on this podcast every week.
Wow. You have another co-host? Weird.
Yeah, my second secret co-host is in the book. And I've been working really hard on it, and I'm really, really excited to share it with you guys. And so to kind of kick off that journey, we wanted to do a little bit of like a dipping our toes in the water of grief magic, because it is, I mean, obviously I could talk about it all day. I have, thousands of words written on it already, but I picked some of the things that felt really important to talk about, things that I wish that I had heard as like just a general baseline, and wanted to talk about them today. So yeah, now I can finally talk about it.
I'm so excited.
Me too.
It's going to be so good.
It's such a strange thing to be excited about, where it's like all of my wildest dreams coming true, and then also like being in this place of constantly like writing and reliving these like objectively horrible things. It's like a very bittersweet experience. And so I'm just excited to be able to talk about it. It's been like a very weird thing to just be experiencing and keeping to myself.
Mm-hmm. Are you going to have an audiobook?
I don't know yet. I think so.
Are you going to read it?
I hope so. I mean, I would like to.
Fun.
I know. And I have been writing like some meditations for the book as well. So I've been like kind of noodling on what that looks like for like how to translate those things. So lots of fun stuff.
Mm-hmm. I'm so excited.
Me
it's going to
too.
be so good. Was that your magic moment of the week?
I guess, I mean, like, it feels weird. I have one other magic moment.
I think you should tell the story of when the contract came through.
Oh, yeah. So, obviously, all of this is very bittersweet, like I said. And I've had, like, some weird feelings about, like, putting out content surrounding a person who is, like, not here, you know? Where, like, in a traditional sense, like, I don't get to run it by Linda and be like, is it okay with you if I write about, like, being in the hospital with you, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And so I, like, had been kind of, like, dealing with this. I think a lot of it was imposter syndrome, creating this, like, inner turmoil of, like, am I doing the right thing? Is this allowed? Am I going to get in trouble with Linda? And Anthony actually really helped me with this, where he was the person who was constantly telling me, like, there's nothing that Linda would want more than for you to share her story to, like, help people. But I'd been, like, kind of just, like, going through this for, like, months and months and months of, like, am I doing the right thing? Am I doing the right thing? And, you know, kept putting one foot in front of the other because it felt like I had no other option, really, in terms of, like, I have to get this out of me. I know this is important. And so got the deal, the book sold, and was waiting for my contract for like 2 months, because you make a verbal agreement, you get to work, and then, like, you know, all the nitty gritty of the contract gets negotiated, whatever. And Linda died on February 14th. The last day I ever spent with her was February 13th, which is also Drew's birthday. And we were in New York for his birthday, and I had just had lunch with our agent, who, like, was such a big part of this. And she was like, oh yeah, like, I'm working on, like, I just sent the last, like, little edit over, like, we should have it soon. And February 13th I got the contract to sign, and it very much felt like Linda saying, like, hey, that story also belongs to you because you were a part of it, like, share what happened to you. It just kind of felt like her, like, endorsement of the project. And so it felt really good. My magic moment that I was going to share was about me hitting my fingernail. So I think that one was better. The TLDR is I thought that I was going to lose a fingernail last week, and my magic moment is that I don't think it's going to fall off. Two things I would say that bring equal joy into my life right now is this book and not losing a fingernail.
Hey, you know, it's the little things.
It's the little things in life, really it is. What was your magic moment this week?
I don't know. I guess my magic moment is, I was trying to think of something not book related, because I wanted to just talk about your book.
I was going to say, talk about, like, I was going to make you talk about your first book tour event.
Oh, my magic moment actually came after the book tour event. So we didn't get a New York Times bestseller, and I thought I was going to be really bummed about that, but I was like, okay. I sort of, like, moved on from it very quickly, but I had this, like, I had such a knowing we were going to list as a bestseller. Like, it like, for months I've just been like, no, it is. It's not going to be hard. And I finally found out what that feeling was. We actually listed, Mundane Magic listed as an American Booksellers Association indie bestseller, which is actually, I think, cooler than New York Times, because an indie bestseller means that we sold more books from independent retailers than other people. And that's so much cooler to me, because, like, you know, we're an Amazon bestseller right now too, in a couple of categories, and that was cool, but it was like, I mean, I have complicated feelings about Amazon, and it's a necessary evil when you sell a book, unfortunately. But the indie bestseller was so fucking cool because it really aligns with just like my values as a reader and our values as a community. And it's apparently a really fucking big deal. Like, I was the only book on that list from my publisher's imprint to list.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so, and like, you know, the books that were underneath mine were like known books, like books you have probably heard of, books you've probably read. And so I think that's like my magic moment is like, we showed up for the little guys and we got rewarded for it on like a major list. Like the American Booksellers Association is apparently like that's the sales channel. So it's like a big deal for independent bookstores. It's a big deal for like publishers. It's harder to do than like some other lists. So I'm really proud of that. And I think we all should be proud of that. And most of those sales came from Spellcrafter. So
I think that's so amazing. It was so cool. So we were on the phone reading the New York Times list together, and I realized that I was going through it, the books that were on the list of the, like, because, you know, the New York Times list is segmented. It's not just like all the books on one. And it was like the how-to and like miscellaneous was what we were looking through. And immediately I was like, Charlie Kirk is on this list. We can no longer care. Like, we cannot be in alignment with the New York Times bestseller list because like we're just like we're encompassing very clearly deeply different value systems. Yeah. No shade to the New York Times, like they just report the facts, right? But like if you're lumped in with Charlie Kirk, I'm no longer interested.
Yeah, I'm good. But then the indie list, I'm like, these are our people. Like it wasn't just like like this is like the underdogs come out on top list, and I'm really fucking proud of it. Fucking proud of it. Like, that's one that I'm like, give me a badge. I want to slap that on my fucking resume.
Right? Yeah, give me a sticker to put on all those copies. Except don't, because I hate when there's a sticker on the book. I hate a sticker.
I hate a sticker.
Don't put a sticker on that book. And you know what? If you send them to me, I'm not putting them on mine. I'll tell you that much. I'll slide the sticker in like a bookmark.
We'll put it on the inside flap.
Yes, I am not putting it on that nice, hard cover.
Beautiful cover. Yeah. So now I can officially call myself a best-selling author. I could before with the Amazon bestseller, but like, I don't know. It didn't feel like, I was like, it's Amazon.
I don't know why, but I think it's like just that I have such a deep inherent mistrust of Amazon that I'm like,
yeah.
Not that I doubt that you are the number one best-selling author in those categories, but I'm like, I just don't trust your algorithm because Lord knows what you put on it. You know, like I just don't.
Right.
Because it's not something that's reported, you know, where it's like the American Bookstore Association, it's like those numbers get sent in and like that compiles a list where I'm like, Jeff Bezos just has the power to say anything's a bestseller. And so I'm like, ugh. But I still love seeing it on your book. It's in my recommended to me anytime I like look something. So the most useful facet of Amazon for me is that it has all of the ISBN numbers of books.
Yeah.
And so when I do all my reporting, I go and I find them on Amazon because it's in the same place on the website. So I spend a lot of time on Amazon looking at books. And so every time I like go and right underneath where the ISBN number is, it's like, here's your recommended, and Mundane Magic is always the number one.
Hell yeah.
Because I do be looking, because it's just me looking up books on witchcraft every day. I'm really fucking with their algorithms.
You should click Mundane Magic every time you see it.
I do.
Maybe that will trigger.
Oh, I do.
Oh, good. She's a good friend, folks.
Listen, I'm doing what I gotta do, you know? Anything for a break in copying and pasting ISBN numbers for 3 hours once a week.
Yeah, I feel you.
All right. We've gotten too happy. Let's talk about grief. We've experienced too much joy.
I was like, I said to Madison, when we knew this book was coming out, I was like, oh, we could do a book tour together. And she's like, I would bring everyone down.
Yeah, literally. I was like, I have bad news about the contents of this book. You don't want to be on this book tour.
Me in the whimsical purple and you just in the dark morning.
Literally
I'm into it.
going, so anybody's friend ever died? That sucks, huh? So the first thing I wrote out in my little outline here was something that it feels really important to say. I even like have, right now, I have like a whole chapter dedicated to it in the book. When I talk about grief magic, and so many people, when you guys would DM me, would give this caveat of like, I know this isn't the same, but like my dog died, or somebody like in my distant family died, or, you know, like my hamster died. Nobody came to me about their hamster, but just thinking about other critters. But you could. I really, really want to make the very important caveat here of that you don't have to have lost your friend who died too young to like get to say that you are grieving. You know, it doesn't have to like, it doesn't have to be that your mom died or your dad died or a sibling died or a partner died or a friend died. It can be the loss of a pet. It can be, you know, the loss of a friendship is grief. The loss of a relationship, the loss of a job is grief. Like those are all
loss of something you don't even
grieve.
know.
I've been writing about that too. So like 5 months, I think, to the day after Linda died, the incredible, amazing poet Andrea Gibson died, who I had never met, obviously, had never even like seen them perform. And I was bedridden.
Dude,
with grief.
I was fucked. I've never felt grief so hard as when Aaron Carter died. Like that fucked me up. It's still like it still hurts. Like I think I experienced more grief from that than like when my grandparents died.
Yeah.
Genuinely. Like,
and I think that we do so much like gaslighting of ourselves of like, oh, I'm not supposed to feel this way. This should be like reserved for somebody who's closer to that person. And grief is not like a non-renewable resource. Like we all have our own feelings that like and the more you try to push that beach ball down underneath the water, the more it's going to come and hit you in the face, you know, like any of the rituals that we talk about here, any of the rituals in the book, like they are for all forms of grief. I've been thinking and writing a lot about like when Linda died, I had to grieve a version of myself.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, I remember like the day that we found out that she was like choosing to go home with hospice, the day that she told us that, you know, like there was nothing that they could do. I looked at Drew and said, I miss who I was yesterday. And that is a form of grief that can be just as strong as losing the person in general. Like it really felt like, and it feels silly because I was 27 when Linda died, but it felt like I was like mourning my childhood.
Oh yeah.
There was like, I think deep down in me, this version of me that still like, despite the logical knowing, there was this child in me that just really firmly believed that like nothing bad would happen to the people in my life, that like that was something that was reserved for other people. And that little girl died the day that Linda died. And that sounds really dramatic, but it's true.
I think that's why Aaron Carter's death hit me so hard, because like he was such a symbol of my childhood and even like my teenage years and my adulthood, and just felt like so untouchable, and it was so sudden, and it just like, yeah, you're right, it was like this death of this version of me that like thought that, you know, this would be a constant in my life no matter what, even though like I didn't know him, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And then it was also like the death of like comfort, like listening to his songs were no longer like comforting and joyful. Like I can't listen to Another Earthquake anymore because there's like a line that says dead in the water and he drowned. And like that line fucks me up. And that was like one of my favorite songs to like sing to in my car. And I know it's like, look at me. I'm like, I know it's not the same because I didn't know him. But like, yeah, it's like grief comes in like such different forms, and it is really easy to like compare. Like I had a lot of shame around like how much grief I felt over this person that I don't know.
And it's true that it's not the same, but that doesn't mean that it's less.
Yeah, it's not less valid.
Yeah, like obviously, you know, my mom talks about this thing of like circles of grief, right? And the further, like obviously the smallest circle, the most inner circle is the person who is dying, right? If that person is still with us. And then right outside of it is like their immediate family, and then like their closest friends, and then their less close friends. And so like those circles experience grief in a very different way, but it doesn't mean that those people aren't also grieving.
Yeah.
And, you know, like one of the most healing parts of losing Linda was when people would come into the store and say like, oh, I only met Linda a handful of times, but it was in here, and we had these really like powerful conversations, and like talking about the way that she had touched their lives when they didn't know her really. You know, or people who listen to this podcast who things that I've shared that Linda's taught me then taught them, they experienced grief. And I just think that that's really important to touch on first and to talk about, because I even felt this way when Linda died, of like, well, she wasn't my mom. You know, I had only known her for 2.5 years, which feels wild when I say it out loud.
Yeah, it's wild.
But I put myself in this place of like, am I even supposed to be at her house right now?
Right, yeah.
Do I belong here? It's all people who have known her for, you know, 5, 10, 15 years. It's her family, it's her children, it's her husband. Like, who am I to be here imposing on this? And so I think really it's kind of something that we all feel, you know, like no matter how close you are to the person that you are losing or have lost, I think we all kind of try to undermine our own grief. And that feels like very distinctly American to me, this like resistance to grief. And you guys internationally will let me know if I'm wrong, but it just seems like it's very tied to like our hyper-capitalistic culture of
gotta keep producing.
You gotta get back to work. Like the store closed one day when Linda was sick. And by the next day we were able to stay staffed, because it was like, what else do you do? You know?
Yeah.
Like how else do, like, we just have to. And I noticed it really quickly after she died, this like energy that not any like one particular person was putting out, and everybody in my life was very, very kind, but there's just like this general understanding of you just swallow it. And that was really hard for me. And I've always been really comfortable in that kind of darker energy. I've always been really comfortable talking about death and dark stuff. It was literally one of the first things that Linda ever said to me. She said, "Girl, you are dark." The first time we ever sat down for a reading. And it's true. Like, I just have always been very comfortable in that space. And so I was very resistant to this idea of like, oh, we're all feeling this all the time in like these varying degrees of surrounding like pets and celebrities and relationships. And, you know, like we're just not talking about it. And so that is really kind of like the basis of this episode for me. Linda always used to say to me, what is remembered lives. And that's like I don't know where it comes from is the truth. I know like that we carry a book that's called What is Remembered Lives. It's like, I think just a witchy turn of phrase to say the more we talk about the people that we've lost, they continue to live on. And so it feels really important to me to kind of pass that idea on of, I don't give a fuck who it makes uncomfortable anymore.
Yeah.
You know, like this is a person who gave so much to the world, and I really feel like that we're like missing something, that she's not here anymore. And so it's our responsibility to continue to talk about the people that we love, the pets that we love, to talk about Aaron Carter, to share Andrea Gibson's poetry. Like, the most healing thing for me has been to recognize that she still gets to live in every person who participates in a practice of hers because I shared it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so it doesn't have to be, if you've lost someone, it doesn't have to be that, you know, they taught you how to do a spell candle and you teach other people how to do that spell candle. I know that that's like a very niche experience. But, you know, something that I think about that's like silly is my grandma taught my mom how to drive. And my mom always like stays very close to the outer left lane because of how my grandma taught her to drive.
Mm-hmm.
And she overcorrected that with me, and I stay very close to the outer right lane.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like small shit like that I notice of like, my grandma's still with us, so like this is kind of morbid, but she no longer like, no matter if she's here or not here, like she lives on in the way that I drive my fucking car.
Yeah, right.
You know, and that is true for everyone that touches our lives. And I think that there's a certain magic in finding those things. You know, like Aaron Carter will live on forever because his music will always be available, and you will always, you know, like have the opportunity to sing those songs. And,
right,
you know, he will always exist and be a part of our collective energy because of what he put out into the world.
Mm-hmm.
And it's easier to find that kind of stuff with celebrities, but I think there's a very specific magic to finding those things about the people that we love that we've lost.
Mm-hmm.
And being able to share those things.
Yeah, I think about like my grandmother used to, I don't know if she knit or crocheted, but she would make like dishcloths for my mom and I. And when I started crocheting, the first thing I did was like make little dishcloths. And I was like, oh, I feel so connected to her. Even though like I never saw her do it. She never taught me how to do it. Like I just remember getting them in the mail every couple of months and just being like, yeah, thanks.
I love that. My grandfather always had like the wildest sayings, the wildest Southern man sayings. And so he would, if he didn't hear what you had said, he would go, "Who shot a bear?" And so sometimes I'll pull that one out.
You should pull that out more.
Right?
That's
it's
a good one.
And I even, so we were at a thing for one of Drew's friends, and this guy that I like kind of know, have met tangentially through Drew like a couple times, said, so I can't remember what he said. He was talking about like things like of like, oh, I don't know if my life's perfect. He said, I don't know if the cotton can get much higher. And I didn't ever remember my grandfather saying anything like it, but it sounded exactly like something that he would have said. And immediately I was like, oh, I feel connected to you. I feel connected to him. And also I immediately go, where are you from? He's from Georgia. And I was like, yes, okay, that's why you sound like one of my cousins.
That's funny.
But I think when you walk this kind of path, right, when you are comfortable with the idea that the people who leave us, and it felt important to say on the top, like I'm not just talking about people,
right?
But I am going to use the word people because I can't be like people or pets or relationships or celebrities or like, you know, whatever every time I say it. So just know that when I say people, there's a blanket statement there, right?
The royal people.
The royal people. You know what? Dogs are people. Hamsters are people. Such an aside. But speaking of hamsters, I was talking to the woman who does my nails about the Lunar New Year. And she asked me like what year I was born. I was year of the ox, whatever. And she goes, yeah, I'm year of the rat, but I don't like to say that. So I tell everyone that I'm the year of the hamster.
Oh, that's good.
Right? Isn't that good? So if you're year of the rat and you don't like it, year of the hamster. Anyways. What was I saying?
I don't know where you were going. The royal people.
Saying hamster made me think about Year of the Hamster, and I lost everything.
You know, we gotta add some light with the dark.
Right? You gotta have some levity. You gotta.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's easier for people who have like kind of accepted this idea that the people that we've lost have like they never truly leave us when you're, you know, like on that witchy, that crooked path, as we call it. Those moments where you lean into that idea of what is remembered lives, and, you know, you share those sayings that your grandfather would say, or you play that song. That is what brings them closer to us. And that is what can foster that level of connection. I think like being really open to the things that made Linda Linda and not shying away from those things. I listened to songs that she loved. I also listened to songs that she hated. And, you know, I think about what she would really like or really dislike, or what I'm doing that she would think is stupid. That has helped me invite her energy closer to me, as in the way that I can imagine like crochet has for you and your grandmother, of this. Sometimes I'll play a song in the car and it's like she's sitting next to me in the passenger seat. And the piece that I really want to like harp on here is that a lot of the magic of that you can call in through grief, like it doesn't have to be spell work. It doesn't have to be like intense ritual and like hosting seances to call them in, or, you know, pulling out the Ouija board. Although
could be fun.
I did have the idea of that I would love to do a seance instead of a book release party.
No, I'm into that. Wait.
Isn't that fun?
I'm so into that.
I want to go to a traditional seance so badly.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
I'm in.
But I don't want to host the seance. I want somebody, like, I want to just go. In the same way that I want to, like, join a ghost hunting team, but I don't want to, like, lead the ghost hunting team. So maybe we find the ghost hunting team and they'll put together the seance.
If anyone knows where we can attend a seance, slide into our DMs.
Slide into our DMs.
We will travel for it.
I can't think of anywhere I wouldn't go. Well,
Yeah.
I can. Some places.
Yeah.
Missouri.
Really?
Just kidding. I think I would go to Missouri, back to Missouri for a seance.
I'm like, geez, we got listeners in Missouri. Like,
no,
don't.
I'm
don't be
joking.
mean
I'm
to
making
them.
a joke out of. I'm joking. I'm making a joke out of my trauma. I'm allowed to. It's my grief episode. Missouri, center of my grief. So, great place for a seance.
That's what I'm saying.
So, I will tease a little bit some of the people that you will find in this book. Obviously, I already gave away one, my secret second co-host of this podcast, who shall remain unnamed. But one of the first people actually the first person I sat down and talked to was Anthony, to talk about like developing your psychic senses, because that feels like the most important first step if you're like looking to connect with your loved ones. The book is kind of like centered in two ideas of like healing and mourning and connection. And I think that those things can overlap a lot.
Yeah.
But there's ritual that's like entirely for like comfort and moving through and healing and like tending to yourself through grief. And then there are rituals that are fully centered in like connection and receiving signs and talking to your loved ones and, you know, like inviting them to like make direct contact with you. And, you know, some stuff in the in-between. And so it felt like a really important place to start to talk about those clairsenses. And so if you want to learn more about how to tap into your clairsenses, you could, one, wait till fall 2027 to read the chapter on the book. Or we have a really excellent clairsenses series that could help you kind of dive in and see how you receive psychic information. And once you kind of have like a greater understanding of how spirit kind of speaks to you, it becomes it becomes easier to recognize how your loved ones might be coming into you. So for example, I will often smell cigarette smoke when my grandfather is around because he was a lifelong smoker. I will hear Linda's laugh sometimes when we are talking about her, and we like say something funny that she used to do or say. Anthony has like a screenshot of a message that she sent where she said that she would come to him with hearts, like literal, like traditional conversation hearts, like the cartoony hearts. And so now every time I see one, I know that that's Linda. I think I've told this story on the podcast of the necklace that I have. Did I tell that?
I can't remember if you told it on the podcast or if you told it to me.
Well, I'll tell it again just in case. This is an example of like how a sign might show up, like how somebody might give you a little poke to say, hey, I'm around. I bought a necklace to hold a little bit of Linda's ashes. And I like it's just like a little simple bar necklace, and you were able to put a symbol on it if you wanted, and it had the zodiac symbols. And Linda was an Aquarius, and we always would talk about like what an Aquarius she was and how she was an alien, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So I put the Aquarius symbol on it because I thought that would be sweet. And I got it shipped to the store so that because it needed to be signed for. And so I knew that like somebody would sign for it, whatever. And Anthony was at the store when it got dropped off. I drove over, went to pick it up, opened it. There was nobody in the store. It was just me, Drew, and Anthony. And I go, oh, they sent me the wrong one. And they sent me one with a heart on it. And so I had this like really... When Linda died, I was convinced that I wasn't going to be psychic enough to see her signs. And that I was going to like miss them because I would be too focused on other shit. And it was moments like that I was like, oh, you're going to slap me in the face that you know, in the way that you know will work for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so if you're on a grief journey and you're feeling like ready to receive psychic signs from the people, hamsters, dogs, celebrities,
the royal people
that you've lost, starting with getting clear on those psychic senses, on those clairs, in my opinion, is like the best baseline that you can build, because then you can just like start to build that trust.
Yeah, I also think too, for anyone wondering, the sign doesn't have to be necessarily like obviously connected to the person. Like you had Linda who was like preparing you for the psychic way she was going to haunt you. My grandmother did not have that. And I started to notice like, I remember this started to happen when I was kayaking that summer after she passed. And I kept seeing dragonflies, and and it was weird because it seemed to happen like I'd be on the water and I would just like think of her, and then I would see a dragonfly would like land on my boat. And then I remember one day being in my backyard, which I lived in the city at the time, so like dragonflies were not normal. I remember in the backyard being like, that was weird how I saw a dragonfly while I was thinking about my grandmother. And then I saw a dragonfly and I was like, And I remember like literally asking spirit, I was like, hey, if this is you, can you send me another dragonfly? And a second one came by. And I was just like, okay, now I know. Dragonfly, she's nearby. So sometimes it can just be like, wow, that was a coincidence that I keep seeing this thing whenever I'm doing something associated with this person. I remember I'll never forget, like we did an altar for my grandmother in the front row at my wedding because she passed like 6 months before I got married, and she really wanted to be there and I really wanted her there. And a dragonfly like landed on the seat and I was just like,
oh.
Yeah. So it could be any sign.
That's
like you
really...
could even ask like, you know, when you're nearby, can you show me this or whatever? Like you can choose a sign.
For sure. Something that happened after Linda passed, or like it was a card that we pulled, that Anthony pulled the morning of February 13th. And it was, or somebody pulled it, I can't remember, but it was an animal card and it was a bee. And the like, I can't remember the entire like write-up of the card, but I remember one of the keywords was responsibility and dedication. And you know, it's funny, I talk about how we only closed the store for a day and how I think that was like maybe kind of unhealthy, but I think that that's exactly what Linda wanted. And that was very much the energy that I felt from her after she passed, was this, like, I kept seeing these bees. You know, we had pulled that card on the last day of her life, didn't tell her about it. You know, we weren't going to be like, oh, we know, like, we have to we have to carry on or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just come in and make it all about me while you're on your deathbed. But after she passed, we kept seeing these bees all over, like cartoon bees, real bees, bees in like places that you would normally see them, whatever. And that became very much this message of like because my gut reaction when that happened was like, well, we have to close the store. Like, that was fun, but I can't do this. Like, I can't stay here in this place.
Yeah.
It was like, simply, I just can't. Like, I can't do this. I don't feel equipped. And that bee would pop up whenever that feeling became too heavy. And I came to understand that of like Linda being like, girl, you better shut up. You have a responsibility. You have a responsibility to this community. You have a responsibility to, like not just the in-person community, but she knew about the podcast. She knew about the work that we've been doing. And it felt impossible for me to show up here, like I was just like, well, I have to just leave my public life and, I don't know what I'm going to do, but maybe I'll go work at Starbucks or something, like I'll figure it out. And that sign kind of came to be no, you have a job to do and it's important that you do it. And this is a part of that. And so, I encourage people to like pull a card when you think of that person and see what that imagery is and see if that shows up for you later. Like, that's an easy way if you're like, I don't know what kind of sign to ask for, because I can get that way of like,
yeah.
If I choose the sign
it's not
and I'm like, show
enough.
me a lizard. Yeah, then I'm like, well, I live in Florida. I see a lizard every time I leave my house. You know?
Yeah. I love the pull a card and then see what stands out to you and then see what comes through later. That's a great practice.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So one of the things I'm most excited about, we've teased that I'm going to Maine this year. And it is
Allegedly.
For this project. Allegedly. I haven't booked the tickets yet because how is it that 2026 is already booked? That's besides the point. But like, trying to find a time that we're both available with you being on book tour, it's like really, we're doing our best. But it's so I can talk to my secret second co-host,
Hercules,
about energy work and grief. And when we first met, you very briefly in Reiki 1, I think, told a story of, maybe it was Reiki 2, I can't remember, you'll tell me, of you doing Reiki while your grandmother was dying.
Reiki 2.
And that was such a transformative moment for me. I hadn't experienced grief yet. I kind of internalized it more of like I could go back into the past and give myself Reiki in moments that I needed it, which is its own kind of grief work, of course. But it was something that I like really leaned on while Linda was sick. Linda would joke that she was like a Reiki whore. She would like jokingly call herself an energy vampire if she just like loves receiving energy work like that. And so I would give her Reiki all the time. And so that was something that I did for her while she was sick. And especially like all day February 13th, I was just sending her Reiki. And I'm interested in your take on like what that experience could be like for people who are not Reiki attuned or like don't have experience in energy work.
Yeah, for me it was, so my grandmother, for context, when I say my grandmother, it's technically like my stepdad's mother. All of my biological grandparents passed when I was like an infant or very, very young, so I didn't have a relationship with them. So when my stepdad came into my life, I adopted his parents as my grandparents when I was like 16 or 17. So I got like a second chance at grandparents, which I think is one of the reasons why like my grandmother passing hit me so hard, because it was like, I just got a grandparent for the first time, like, and you're gonna take her away from me, like, and we were very close, like we were literally pen pals, like we mailed each other letters and we wrote each other letters and we'd like buy each other stationery for our birthdays and stuff. And
that's so tender.
Yeah, and she lived in Florida, so I'm up in Maine, so like it was not like I got to see her, not even once a year, like less than that. And she got sick in 2020 or 21. So it was like mid COVID. I was working at a retirement community. And so I like was, you know, had a risk of exposure to COVID, but also like, you know, it was basically a situation where like I had to choose, am I going to fly to Florida and potentially like put her and my family and my grandfather at risk, and then come back and have to take like 2 weeks off of work to quarantine that I can't afford, and also like put my family back home and like my residents at risk. And also like I couldn't afford it. So it was like a very difficult, awful like predicament to be in. But I basically had to make the choice that I couldn't go down to see her and say goodbye. And so doing Reiki for her at a distance was like the only way that I could support her, because towards the last week or so of her life, she was not lucid. So I couldn't call her. I couldn't talk to her. She was like in and out of consciousness. And so every night I would do distance Reiki for her. And I remember the last night I physically felt her put my hands together, and she was like, "Thank you so much, darling. Like, I'm so proud of you." Like, and I like heard it in her voice. And at that time I was still like kind of skeptical of distance Reiki, you know, like I'd had experiences and like I was a believer in it, but I wasn't like, you know, distance Reiki is the cat's pajamas, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that was the moment where I was like, everyone needs to know distance Reiki. Like that moment, I just felt such a tremendous amount of peace. Like I was able to say goodbye to her energetically and like have this really substantial kind of like closure. And then I got the call the next morning that she'd passed in the night. So it was one of those moments where when I got that call, I wasn't surprised. And I also feel like I got more closure than I would have had if I had gone down there.
Yeah.
And that was like the moment that really made me such a strong advocate for distance Reiki and like such a believer in that practice for grief. And I remember when Aaron Carter passed, like doing Reiki for his spirit and like asking his permission to send him Reiki, less so for him and more so for my own grief. And it's just always been a practice that I have leaned on since then. So I think like any way that you can, like if you aren't familiar with Reiki or distance Reiki, like I think just energetically connecting with the person and like talking spirit to spirit and having that moment of closure before or after they pass is like a really powerful practice in the grief, like in the grieving process. And I know what you're going to say. You're going to be like, well, how do I know it's not just my brain and it's really their spirit? Like, it does not matter.
Mm-hmm.
Like, at the end of the day, like, my grandmother was not lucid. Like, I have no way of knowing if it was just my brain trying to comfort me or if it was actually her spirit or I was talking to. I choose to believe it was her spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And I choose to allow myself to feel that comfort. And no one can tell you otherwise, like, honestly. And so just allow yourself to have that moment where you're just let that judgment go and just let that, you know, doubt go and let yourself be like, say all of the things that you would have said to this person if you had that opportunity, or say all the things to the person you'd like to say, but you don't feel comfortable saying in that moment, and just like let it be the moment that it is. Allow it to bring you that comfort and don't worry about, you know, being right in that moment. Like, it's not about that. It's really about like bringing yourself that sense of comfort and grief, and also like sending that sense of comfort to that other person.
Yeah, I had a kind of a realization last night actually about Reiki and energy work and in grief, because I think a lot about like how Reiki is a practice that you are attuned to, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been working on this recipe for the book for a like a shower scrub to use before dream work.
Ooh, fun.
And so I made a batch of it last night. I'll bring you some.
Please.
I'm actually putting together your birthday present right now, so I'll send it with that.
Is there a Labubu in it?
Well, I didn't know that you could still get a Labubu, and then you told me that you didn't really want one, but so you bought 2 last night, and so I did not get you one for your birthday. But if you want another one, I'll send you another one.
No, it's fine.
You don't want my handmade gifts? You
No,
want
I do.
fucking Labubus?
I really do. I want my journal.
Kids these days. I know. Your journal is coming with your birthday present.
Oh, thank God.
It's a Christmas birthday extravaganza. But anyways, I was making the scrub last night, and I didn't really realize that what I had written into, like, the recipe was very similar to Reiki, which is just to sit with the scrub and imagine the version of that person that you want to, like, see. If I'm going to dream about Linda, I don't want to dream about the version of her that was sick in the hospital, right? I want her to come to me in the way that I know her, in the way that she wanted to be seen.
Yeah.
And it's funny, whenever I, like, see her in my mind's eye, or I see her in my dream, she's wearing the same outfit, and it was, like, her favorite outfit that she would wear all the time. And she used to, like, rock back and forth on her feet in this very specific way. And so I always know that that's, like, that it's really her when I see her in that way, like, that full-bodied in this outfit, rocking back and forth. And so I'm holding the scrub last night, and I'm just picturing that version of her, and I had it written down to just, like, send all of the love that you feel for that person into the jar. And I was like, oh, that's just Reiki, not Reiki. Like,
yeah,
Reiki
similar.
is the universal energy of, of that we're all connected to. And what's a better other word for that than love? Like, that is what Reiki is to me. And so starting to do that as well, of, like, sending you this loving, healing energy, sending myself this loving, healing energy, and also letting that love that I feel for this person fill my body, and, like, feel it for myself, and let it, like, go into this object and imbue this object with that love, and I get to feel that love every time I use it. And it's obviously different because it's different, but it does accomplish, like, some of the same things.
Yeah, I think in this case for sure.
Reiki really did, like, I've talked about it on here that my anxiety was really, really bad after Linda died. I was kind of convinced that, like, everybody that I loved was going to be taken from me very suddenly, and it was really, like, it was a lot. And there are a lot of tools in my toolbox, one of them being Lexapro. We know her, we love her, we've talked about her, but one of the first tools in that toolbox for me was my Reiki practice. Like, grief isn't just sadness and pain, it is also all of the fear that comes afterwards. And Reiki did so much for me in that period of my life, and it still does some, like, I still take my medication and I do Reiki. And I take my sleepy time stuff to make it easier for me to fall asleep, because that's when it gets the worst. Like, all of those things work in conjunction together.
Yeah, they're complements for sure.
And I just, like, was so grateful that I had Reiki kind of, like, in my back pocket, because I didn't really want to accept outside help from, like, a doctor for quite a while. I was, like, really was resistant to it. We know my opinions on medication. I think it's great. I think I was really resistant to the idea of, like, speaking out loud what had been, like, existing in my brain. And so I had to get to this point where, like, that discomfort was, like, so unmanageable with the tools in my toolbox that I, like, had to say it out loud. But Reiki kept me in a place of, like, being functional for a long time.
Yeah.
While I, like, was able to get to that place.
It's now a good time to remind everyone that I have a training for Reiki, and the details will be in the show notes. So I feel
not the Reiki plug.
I don't know. I feel like
plug it.
I feel like, what better testimonial?
It's true. Like, I usually I talk about my migraines
Mm-hmm.
when we talk about Reiki. And I kind of forget that that was even a part of my practice
Mm-hmm.
nowadays because it's become so like spirit work for me. It's
Oh,
like a
yeah.
balm, you know, it's something that connects me to Linda, but also like connects me to myself. And I think really shows me that I am capable of healing.
Totally. Yeah, I feel the same way about Reiki. I think like yeah, it's interesting like as you're talking about it, I'm like, yeah, my relationship to Reiki really changed when my grandmother passed too. Like it really did become spirit healing. It became like
Mm-hmm.
less about the physical and more about like tending to my soul and
Yeah.
tending to like I think overall it like helps me feel connected to like spirit in a different way. And I almost feel like I
Yeah.
had to have that experience of like connecting to my grandmother's spirit directly to recognize that like, oh, this can be a tool for that too.
Mm-hmm. For sure. I think like when I look back on when I first did your training and you know, it was doing Reiki on my water bottle and doing Reiki on
Mm-hmm.
my tea and doing Reiki on my cats and you know like all of these external things of like using this tool that was like bright and shiny and new. And I can't tell you the last time, and not that like, you know, I think I'm too good for doing Reiki on my water bottle. Surely it could probably help me out to do it a little bit more often, but I can't tell you the last time I did that because it is like such a deeper practice for me now
Yeah.
that is just so different.
Yeah. It's so funny. I was talking to one of my teachers, Michelle, about this, but we were both like, I can't remember the last time like I said, okay, I'm sitting down to practice Reiki because for myself and for her and for many of like my students who have kind of been on this journey for a while, it just becomes imbued in every area of life. I'm like, it actually would be easier for me to think about moments that I am not using Reiki or moments
Yeah.
where Reiki hasn't touched this part of my day. And it's hard to like conceptualize that when you're first getting started, right? Like, because you do like it's new and it's shiny and you're trying it on all these different things, but then it's almost like one day you look back and you go like, wow, this is like fully embedded in my life and I am a completely different person for the better because of it.
Yeah, totally. I used to have this image in my mind when I would practice of like there's a faucet above my head and I turn it on and I turn it
Mm-hmm.
off. And now I kind of feel like I live my life with the faucet on.
Yep.
And, you know, I still use that imagery like when I work with clients and stuff
Yeah.
as like a, okay, like a, hey, we're getting started with this. But outside of that, like I've got the faucet on and I know that
Mm-hmm.
everything I touch is kind of touched by this practice.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's like the magic of the path of Reiki because when you feel that deeply connected to Reiki, that's like a sign of feeling deeply connected to all beings and nature and life and like versions of yourself that you want to become and all of that. Like it's all connected.
Mm-hmm. I'm very grateful for that practice and I'm very excited to like share it
Mm-hmm.
in the Grief Grimoire.
Yeah. If you want to learn Reiki before then, grab the waitlist link in the show notes.
Could be fun.
Could be fun.
So one of the first things that I did after Linda died is like one of my most recommended practices for grief, which is Anthony and I went to the Goodwill and we found a piece of furniture to use as an altar for her.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of grown and changed. And, you know, like sometimes it's bigger, sometimes it's smaller. It's evolved over the last year. But that day I bought a side table and I came home and I cleansed it. And, you know, we went to her house the day that she died and like helped clean up. Like dying is messy.
Mm-hmm.
And so like they had, you know, stuff and we just went to help out.
Mm-hmm.
And her daughter gave me some things that I had gifted Linda, gave them back. That's what they don't tell you about when your friends die. You get your Christmas presents back.
Ouch.
Little known perk. But she also just gave me some stuff. She was like, I just feel like you're supposed to have this. And so here you go. Like, this is some of her stuff. And so it was after that we went to Goodwill. And so came home, cleansed it, laid down an altar cloth, and set out these things for her with some water and some Reese's Pieces, which are her favorite candy. And giving yourself a place to sit and a place to remember and a place to mourn and a place to do some of that ritual work, giving physical space to that emotional pain is really, really important.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, like when you really think about it, this is something that we've been doing for millennia. Like, what is a gravestone other than an altar? Like, we go and we leave things. We write cards. We leave cards on grave sites. We bring,
offerings.
You know, yes. What I wish I could remember the name of that woman who she and her kids on TikTok, her kids are like adults. And their dad died clearly like many years ago. And they come and they like eat French fries at their dad's grave with their mom. And she's like so funny. I think her name is Robin.
Okay.
And she's so fucking funny. And she like, they obviously like, they make light of it, but it's like all in good fun. And they'll like bring different fast food and like give him a little bit of the fast food, and then they eat it together. And they like made a video that it was like a really big deal of bringing the son's new girlfriend to meet dad.
Aww.
And like stuff like that. It was like it's so funny. I love her. That's an altar.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I would really love, when I die, take notes. I would love to have a park bench.
Okay.
That is an altar in and of itself. Like it's a physical place to honor, and you can go and sit and connect to that person, or, you know, leave a small offering, or do your meditation, do your ritual work, whatever it is.
Do a crossword.
Mm-hmm. Spend some time, listen to their favorite song, like that. That's an altar.
Mm-hmm.
And so it doesn't have to be like a place that you build, especially if something already exists. You know, even like, what's their favorite walking trail?
Mm-hmm.
What's their usual seat in their favorite coffee shop?
I used to intentionally wear my grandmother's jewelry while I was like sitting with her memory. And now it lives on my altar.
Mm-hmm. But like making, even if it's like, if it's temporary, that side table in itself like is no longer used for her specifically. Now she has a shelf. It's right behind me, actually. You can see it.
Oh, you moved it?
I did. I moved it in here because this is where I do my work. And so it felt nice for her to get to see it instead of just watching me watch TV like when she was in my living room. You can be with me while I do something productive, Linda. But I have a photo of her, like a photo of all of us together, a cup of water, some Reese's Pieces, a note that she wrote me forever ago that I have framed, a tarot deck and an oracle deck that I have of hers, and all my fucking Christmas presents. But really, the piece that's most important to me, like if I was only given, like if I had to have a secret altar, if I was like in the broom closet, if I couldn't have like a, you know, or in a smaller space, whatever, just a glass of water.
Mm-hmm.
Just a glass of water to say, hey, I'm thinking about you. And, you know, if you get thirsty, this is for you. But it can be anything. I have a crystal of hers. My mom bought me this like photo holder thing that has a bee on it. And so I have that in there.
I was going to say, like, could be nice to do like a digital lock screen altar. Like your favorite photo of the person or with the person. And maybe like they're, you know, put some little images of their favorite flowers or whatever around it, or decorate it with their favorite color.
There's this oracle card, this like angel oracle card that looks just like Linda, like in the craziest way. And she sent us a picture of it forever ago and was like, isn't this wild? This looks just like me. And that was my lock screen for a long time.
Oh.
And photos of us, even like, you know, when people have like, I don't remember what it's called, but there's like digital gravesite things where people can like.
Oh, really? Oh, like, like the album, the like. Yeah.
Where people can post photos or send like well wishes to the family and things like that, where if you can't make it in person, those are altars, you know, and you can write messages to the person there if there is one.
Their Facebook wall.
Yeah. Facebook, any of their social media. Sometimes I'll go like look at Linda's Instagram. She has one photo. Anthony made it for her. She never used it ever again. She swore she was going to get on the internet, and then she never did.
She's there in spirit now. She's talking about
exactly. Her. What is remembered lives. You know, every time I go looking for that profile, every time I go clicking on it, she gets to live on. And then the last thing that I had that I pulled from the book that I really want to talk about is the shadow work of grief. So much of grieving is recognizing the moments in which you fell short, and it's coming to terms with like your own imperfection of things that you could have done differently or said differently, or things that you didn't say that you wish that you had. And, you know, that is, I think, the hardest part for most people, especially, you know, if the person that you're grieving, if you didn't have a perfect relationship with that person, you know, that is especially where I want to say, like, hey, you're still allowed to grieve if you're grieving somebody that you were estranged from. That grief is still real and still valid, and still you're allowed to have it. And I think the hardest work of grief is recognizing that shit that you don't want to look at about yourself and about that person.
Yeah.
And so I think we give grief this kind of idea of they have to be perfect. We have to like put them on this pedestal. You can't speak ill of the dead. And we kind of lose this full, well-rounded idea of the people. And I don't think that's fair to us, and I don't think it's fair to them. And there's also that element of that grieving of that person that you were before. You have to recognize that you are like now a new person who's been like maybe hardened by this thing. And I had to really come to terms with like ways that I like, when I say this, it sounds dramatic because it sounds like I was like a monster person, and I don't think I was, but like, you don't show up as your best self when you're grieving.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, I was quick to anger, and especially when my mental health started slipping, I was like not a great person to be around. I was constantly like trying to control the situation around me, and I definitely acted in ways that like I'm a little bit embarrassed of. You know, it was not a good time to be Drew, I'll tell you that much. Getting called 18 times a day. You know, if you're at the stoplight for a little bit too long and I don't see your location moving, so I think that you've been in an accident. To just be like, hey, are you okay? Oh, I forgot you had a dentist appointment. Sorry for calling you 4 times in a row. You know, because I'm like worried because I can't self-soothe. Again, Lexapro, highly recommend. This podcast was not sponsored by Lexapro, but I'd be willing to talk.
Are we both on Lexapro right now?
Sexy Lexi.
Oh my God. Lexapro baddies.
We love her. Did make me nauseous for a little while, but we got through it and now everything's fine. But I think recognizing that your grief can be multidimensional is a really important piece to healing, and it will add a richness to your connection with that person from the other side. That connection with yourself, that connection to your spell work. Like, give yourself grace to be messy, and then have the strength to like look at the mess. And grace and self-love and patience, those are all magic too. Like, and they're all things that you need when you're grieving.
And there's no rush.
There's no rush. No matter like how much pressure you might feel externally to be better and be quote unquote over it, and there is no better and there is no over it. Like, this is just what happens forever. You know, like this is life now. And that's okay. It's going to take time to acclimate. And it's, when I say that this is life now, I don't mean like, oh, that it's going to feel like shit forever, because I mean, it's only been a year for me. And I don't want to act like it's not really fucking hard, because it is really, really hard and really terrible.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that on February 14th, 2025, if you had told me what my day-to-day life would look like 1 year later, I don't think that I had the capacity to understand my own ability for healing and my own ability for peace.
Totally.
And so, like, just know that that's possible.
Hundo P.
I also think if she had looked at me, she would be like, oh, you're still that sad? It's like it's both things of like, oh, she's like, I feel that much better, but I also feel that bad, you know, like it's,
yeah.
And both of those things are true.
Mm-hmm.
It still hits me that hard. It still feels that awful. And also I still am able to live my day-to-day life for the most part without that like crushing sense of pain.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
And I love you. If you are on a grief journey, if you are missing somebody or something, just know that I am thinking about you like every minute of every day.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the worst group to be a part of, but it's the best group to be a part of because the people that I've met talking about grief, it's really like changed the way that I see the world. And so I'm very grateful for everybody who's like shared their stories with me and shared their loved ones with me. They live through me like I hope Linda lives through you.
Aww. I'm so excited for your book.
Me too. Now I have to write it.
Before anyone asks, there's no pre-order open yet.
No, not yet. As soon as I know, you'll know. But I think they usually like to see a completed manuscript before they start taking anybody's money.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll keep you guys updated on how it's going.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be posting about it on my Instagram. But yeah, it's like very surreal. Right before we started, I was like, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to talk about this. Like, it's something that has existed solely inside my brain. And like, I've only really been able to talk about it with people who are very close to me. Like, you know, Molly's known from the beginning, obviously. But it's the kind of thing of, you know, you don't want to tell anybody until it's like it can't be taken away.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just been like wild to say it out loud and to, you know, I had this very light outline for this episode and I'm like, I don't fucking know. I don't know what to talk. This is just like so scary and strange and surreal. So thank you for listening.
We love you.
I love you.
Did we do it?
I think we did it.
Okay.
We will see you next time. We're getting back into everybody's one true love, which is unhinged research. We're talking about the witch hunts next week.
Woo.
Okay, love you.
Bye. Thanks for listening to Demystify Magic with Molly and Madison. All our links, from spells to ceremonies to ways to support us, are waiting in the show notes.
We'd love to hear your magic moment of the week. Share it in a review, tag us on socials, or bring it to our Patreon clubhouse at demystifymagic.com.
And remember, you are the magic.
Okay, love you.
Bye.
Starting a business can seem like a daunting task, unless you have a partner like Shopify. They have the tools you need to start and grow your business. From designing a website to marketing to selling and beyond, Shopify can help with everything you need. There's a reason millions of companies like Mattel, Heinz, and Allbirds continue to trust and use them. With Shopify on your side, turn your big business idea into... Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/special offer.